Birth alerts are notices put on a pregnant patient's file. They require a hospital to contact Child Protective Services when a woman gives birth, and they can lead to the infant being apprehended at birth. The class action alleges the practice is a violation of privacy and constitutional rights. Nikita Steele is the primary plaintiff in the class action lawsuit. Well, for more on this story, we're joined by lawyer Elisa Lombard, who is part of the legal team behind the class action. Ms. Lombard, thanks so much for being with us. For those who don't know, can you just give us a brief on, what birth alerts are and how they work in Canada?
Sure. So birth alerts are a practice that are usually engaged by child and family services agencies. They are issued on the file of a pregnant woman, and that information is then somehow disclosed to a hospital, who then alerts authorities when a child is born, or perhaps not, but the birth alert remains on the file. That information is shared, and often or sometimes the child is apprehended in hospital. And so that is essentially the context underpinning the birth alert practice.
Now, a number of provinces over the last year or two have announced that they're stopping these alerts. Why is a class action still necessary at this point?
Well, first, as we know, sometimes practices cease formally occurring. It doesn't mean that they actually cease occurring. And so we do think that this practice still carries on. But most importantly, there are many women and children and families who have been terribly impacted by this practice, who have experienced tremendous trauma as a result of it. And they have their right to their day in court and to justice.
In Manitoba, it used to be pretty common that there was a child apprehended like every single day of the year, or more than 365 a year. How widespread is this practice, and is the class action going to be national in scope?
Indeed, it is national. There's a consortium working on it with very competent lawyers in class actions and in constitutional rights and Indigenous rights from across the country. Clear from British Columbia through Saskatchewan and Manitoba are familiarly working on those particular provinces, as well as Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes, and so it is national in scope.
And so how can women and families come forward to join the class action?
Well, there is some information available, and that has been circulated by way of a press release. And depending on where they are situated, where they are located, and where this may have happened, if they are located in British Columbia, they will want to get in touch with Camp Fiorante Matthews Mogerman. If they are in Alberta as well, that's who they'll want to contact. If they are in Manitoba or Saskatchewan, they'll want to get in touch with us at Agnes Lombard. If they're in Ontario, with Waddell Phillips. In Quebec, Belleau Lapointe. And if they are in the Maritimes, the Burke Law Group.
Well, Ms. Lombard, we'll have to leave it there, but appreciate you taking some time for us here today.
Thank you for having me.